It's downright scary how much time we are spending on our phones these days, and it's not just phones. Anything with a screen, whether it be a computer, a tablet, TV, even VR. VR is becoming ever more popular. It's wild how much time we just spend moving from screen to screen. Now, it doesn't always have to be bad things. These devices can help us with our jobs, they can help us communicate with loved ones, they can even educate us. But let's be honest, a lot of us are spending time on these devices, on our phones, doing things that aren't really all that healthy to us. So I wanted to share some of the things that I'm doing so that my phone doesn't really sort of ruin my life. So first thing I do when setting up a new phone or getting a new phone is I turn off all of the notifications pretty much. I only have notifications for the most essential things because notifications are just a massive distraction. You don't need to know if you got a like on an Instagram post or a Twitter post. I used to be one of those people where I used to think, oh, I want to know all these notifications. But in reality, it's just not that important. The only apps that I have notifications enabled for are things like iMessage and WhatsApp. I do also have Instagram DMs, but with Instagram DMs, I only have it come up as a banner. I don't have it come up as sort of vibrate and sound notification because Instagram DMs are sort of lower tier of messages for me compared to iMessage and WhatsApp. I have notifications enabled for calls, even though I'm not really a call sort of person. I have notifications for my security cameras. I have security cameras with motion detection. I want to make sure that I get those notifications, payments, and pretty much sort of anything else that's similar to that sort of value. I want to make sure that notifications I get are actually valuable because if you have notifications turned on for everything and everything is important, then nothing is important. So I know that when I get a notification on my phone, it's going to be for something that's quite important, something that requires my attention. A Twitter like, an Instagram like, a new TikTok video, a new YouTube video, those aren't things that need my instant attention. The other reason I have notifications disabled for pretty much everything is because of ads. It makes me so mad, it makes me so angry when I see an app that is supposed to be quite important, give you notifications that are just ads, that are just marketing. It winds me up so much. I'm not sure why Apple allows this. I actually think they should ban any developer that uses notifications for marketing because notifications should be for stuff that's actually important. Next up is Do Not Disturb, and Do Not Disturb is a feature that I use liberally. It's such a great feature that Apple have implemented. I'm actually using it right now whilst I'm recording this video. Do Not Disturb, of course, disables all notifications from everything and from everyone. So the only way to get notifications is to manually sort of choose which ones you want notifications from, which I think is fantastic. In the Do Not Disturb menu, you can see what I have set up. So of course you can choose people to come through. I have no one coming through, so no one can call me or message me through Do Not Disturb. But I think you can enable it so that if someone calls you, I think it's 2 or 3 times, it does come through Do Not Disturb. I can't remember exactly how it works. And I of course have my security camera come through as well. But other than that, I have no other apps come through Do Not Disturb because with Do Not Disturb, I know that when I turn it on, I really do want no distractions. I don't want anyone calling me or messaging me. I'm completely focused on doing whatever I'm doing at that time. We can go into options here and we can see a few notification options. I don't have any of it enabled. I have everything silenced. And the great thing is you can even customize what your lock screen, what your home screen and what your Apple Watch look like when you have Do Not Disturb enabled. So for example, with the home screen, I can choose one of my home screens instead of the default home screen, which is the first one. Same with the lock screen, I can choose from a variety of different lock screens. This is also just a good way to indicate that you're in Do Not Disturb mode. So maybe you have a specific wallpaper, maybe you have specific widgets or something that you want for Do Not Disturb. You can do that, you can assign it to that. And you can also set a schedule. So I have mine scheduled from 1 AM to 8 AM because that's when I'm sleeping. I don't want any notifications coming through when I'm sleeping because it is just such a distraction. I don't want anything disturbing my sleep. My sleep is important to me. What I also love about Do Not Disturb is that you can enable it from the control center. So by swiping down, you can hold down on it and you can actually choose different options. So you can have it on for only an hour. You can have it on until this evening, until you leave a location. You can also set it up to different focus modes. This is what makes Do Not Disturb very, very powerful because of course, when I'm recording a video, it usually takes me around half an hour to an hour to record a video. So I can make sure that when I use Do Not Disturb, I can have it on for an hour so that no one is contacting me for an hour. Because when I'm recording videos, people don't want to hear notifications and calls coming through. That's just very distracting. I also don't want to be interrupted when I'm recording a video. And another great feature of Do Not Disturb is that when someone is messaging you through iMessage, I think this is only applicable in iMessage, they can see that you're in Do Not Disturb mode. So they'll be able to see that you don't want to be bothered. So it's almost like a subtle indication to that person being like, hey, I'm in Do Not Disturb mode, please leave me alone, only message me if it's important. One of the best features of Do Not Disturb is that it syncs across your devices if you're using Apple devices. So when I enable it on my phone, it syncs to my iPad, it syncs to my Apple Watch, it syncs to my Mac. So I don't have to enable Do Not Disturb on each of those devices, it does it for all of them automatically. Just a great feature. Next up we have app limits, and to get to app limits you have to go into settings and then you have to go to screen time, and then you scroll down and you have app limits. And app limits are essentially a way to limit how much you use an app. So you can see here, I have it set up for Instagram and TikTok. I have it set up so that I can only use Instagram and TikTok for 1 hour a day, every day. This is just a great way for me to limit how much I use those apps. Of course, you can assign it to any app that you like. Because with Instagram and TikTok, especially TikTok, Jesus, with TikTok, like I can doom scroll for ages. Like it's so easy just to keep scrolling and scrolling, see new content. It is crazy, crazy addictive. So I've limited it on there, but it's weird, right? Because of the type of work that I do, browsing Instagram and TikTok can also be beneficial to my work. So I'm trying to get a good balance of like, okay, I can use this for inspiration, I can use it to come up with video ideas, I can use it to create content, but at the same time, I don't want to be spending time doing that all the time rather than creating. I need to have a good, fine balance of it. So app limits, I would highly, highly recommend. It's just a great, healthy way to make sure that you're not using some apps way too much. A new one that was introduced at the end of last year with the new version of iOS was screen distance, which is also again under settings, under screen time, and then you'll see screen distance. Screen distance, it's a fairly simple feature, but it also makes a lot of sense, and I'll go into why. So what screen distance does is that when you have your phone too close to your face, it will remind you to move it away from your face so that it's at a more appropriate distance. I have quite a bad tendency of using my phone quite close to my face, and what that can actually cause is myopia. So for those who don't know what myopia is essentially when your eyes become used to focusing on things that are close to your face. So when you start looking at things further away, they become blurry. It's actually hard to see them, it's hard to focus on them. That's exactly what I had myopia. A lot of people actually have myopia and they probably don't realize, because usually it's just like bad eyesight, right? And usually you would wear glasses to fix it. I wore glasses all the way from 2017 to the beginning of 2023 when I had laser eye surgery. Laser eye surgery was so worth it, like it's just made such a difference. But yeah, that is what causes myopia, using screens that are at a distance that are quite close to you, and it doesn't just have to be phones, it can also be laptops and computer screens. I had my laser eye surgery done nearly 18 months ago now, and my vision is fantastic. I actually have better than 20/20 vision, and yeah, it's been great. But obviously I want to make sure that my myopia doesn't come back, and the best way to combat it is of course to place screens further away from you. So if you are using a phone, if you are using a computer, a laptop, whatever, try and place it further away. Also trying to work in a brightly lit environment. So if you can let as much natural light into your environment, wherever you're working, your office, whatever, that can really help. You should also regularly try and look at things that are further away than the screens that you're looking at. So what I've done specifically to combat this is I've put my desk setup, my computer setup in front of my window. So I have lots of natural light coming in, which is beaming into my room, beaming into my eyes, which helps a lot. And I'm periodically looking out the window without even thinking about it, because you just naturally look at things when they're sort of in motion in your peripheral vision. You end up looking outside, you end up looking at cars, birds, animals, just anything that's going on outside. That can really help with myopia because your eyes are then focusing on things that are much further away than the computer screen that's in front of you. But anyway, I know that's not strictly iPhone related, but I wanted to bring it up because I know many of you guys who are watching me are just like me. You're sitting in front of screens all day, every day. When it comes to my lock screen and home screen layout, I keep it fairly simple. I mean, this doesn't look that simple because I have a pretty busy wallpaper, but I like it. I think it looks quite nice. If you're interested in this wallpaper, I'll leave a link to it down in the description below. But yeah, I just have my car sort of battery from my Apple Watch and the weather. That's really it. When we look at my home screens, I only have 3. I have this one, second and third. That's really it. Try to keep them quite minimal, and as you can see, the background is black. I just prefer a completely black background because I find it a lot less distracting. When it comes to the setup, clock widget, calendar widget, just some of my apps, and then again, Whoop widget, sleep widget, a task or tick widget even, and then a few more apps. That's really it. I want to keep my home screens quite simple. I don't really want to be messing around with lots of widgets sort of feeding me lots of information, lots of data, because I don't really need it. I just want to make sure that I have everything that I regularly use just here all the time. Another thing I do is that I have a lot of vital information that I want to see on my Apple Watch rather than having to use my phone. So for example, with my Apple Watch, I have the screen set up to show me sunset and sunrise times. I have the temperature for the day, quick timer options, my activity levels, workout startup, and current noise level around me. All of this information on here means I don't have to get out my phone to look for it. It means I don't have to open up my phone, go through different apps just to look for something, because that can also distract me. If I'm opening up my phone to look at something like the weather, I could end up being quickly distracted by a notification from Instagram or Twitter. But if I have it on my watch, it's very, very focused. It's much smaller, it's very, very focused. I'm not distracted by anything else. It's just a much better way for me to make sure that I'm not using my phone. It also sort of acts as a notification filter. So let me explain. The way it works is that if I get a call, if I get a message or something, it will come up on my watch. I'll be able to see who it's from, and then I'll be able to figure out, do I need to act on this right now? It means I don't have to get my phone out again. It means that I can just see it, be like, okay, I don't need to act on this, and just get on with whatever I'm doing at that time. I actually started noticing this recently because I got my first fancy watch. Actually, let me go get it so I can show you. So I'm back. So here I have 2 Rolexes that I bought, and I love them, like they're great. I've started wearing them more often, replacing my Apple Watch, and I realized that when I do have these on, when I get a notification on my phone, I have to pick up my phone. I have to look at my phone to look at a message or a call or whatever to see who it's from. I didn't really notice that before, because for the last nearly 10 years, ever since 2015, I had been wearing my Apple Watch every single day, like pretty much every single day. I never really had a fancy watch. So all of the notifications were coming through there, and I had gotten used to filtering my notifications through my Apple Watch, trying to see what I should act on. But yeah, ever since I started wearing these, I've noticed I've actually started using my phone more. So I don't wear these that often. I only wear these when I'm going out, when I'm doing something nice, maybe going to an event or whatever, I'll wear a Rolex. But day to day, I'm wearing my Apple Watch. But yeah, these are really, really nice. I know some of you have been asking, you know, am I into watches and stuff? I am. I've actually wanted an Explorer for a long time. I wanted one from 2020. I only got this one beginning of this year, and I got the date just end of last year. Absolutely great, fantastic watches. But yeah, off topic a little bit. If you're someone who's considered an Apple Watch and want to use your phone less, I would highly recommend getting an Apple Watch. It's just a great way to sort of have a mini version of your phone, but you're not actually using your phone. Also, for those wondering, because I get a lot of questions about it on videos, people think I'm wearing 2 watches. I'm not wearing 2 watches. I'm wearing something called a Whoop band. I've done a video on this already. I've actually done a video comparing this with the Apple Watch. I wear both, but yeah, make sure to check that out as well.